Kamen Rider X8 was my first Kamen Rider series. It wasn't the first I finished, that would be Drive, but it was the series that got me into the franchise and the first one I watched while it was airing. Written by Yu Yu Takahashi, who would also help write Lupin the Third Part 4, The High School Heroes, and would go on to help write Kamen Rider 01, the series stars Emu Hojo, a doctor in training who is also a big gamer. Through hijinks, he gets his hand on a gamer driver in the Mighty Action X Gashot and becomes Kamen Rider X8. By the way, X8 stands for Extreme 8. He, along with the other Kamen Riders, battle the Bugster virus monsters that come from video games in an ever-changing and twisting narrative. Emu is a clumsy yet likable protagonist. He does well as the hero the audience looks up to while having his own personal demons to battle, like being one of the first victims of the Bugster virus. It's gripping stuff, which is highlighted best in episode 39 where he confronts the Bugster monster that spawned from him, Parad, in one of the rawest scenes in the show. Speaking of Parad, he's a great foil to Emu. While Emu knows when to stop playing games and tackle the situation seriously, Parad treats everything as a game, with his main goal being to have fun, which gets questioned and challenged when Kamen Rider Chronos is introduced into the series and Parad has to grapple with the concept of humanity and death since Chronos poses an actual threat to his existence. Our secondary writer for the series is Kamen Rider Brave, aka Hero, who has a dead girlfriend who was lost to the Bugsters. He's more reserved and serious, focusing on wiping out the virus over the patient of the week that's been infected, since he believes doctors shouldn't get attached to their patients with death being part of the job. While seemingly jerkish, it is an understandable line of thought, especially when the Bugsters took his girlfriend. Kamen Rider Snipe, aka Taiga, is a weird case of a character, mostly because his backstory that makes him a fleshed out and interesting character is stuck with the side content, specifically the Blu-ray series Kamen Rider Snipe Episode 0. You might have noticed that when I look at Toku shows, I usually talk about the main show and not the specials or movies, because those aren't part of the main show. I believe that you should get a complete experience from the main show instead of using side content to make up for the show's failings. Side content should be just that, side content, to expand on the show without being necessary or hiding plot points for the main show. Despite this, I still think Taiga's a pretty cool character, especially when Nico gets introduced around episode 14. Kirika, aka Kamen Rider Laser, gets a lot of development in the first 12 episodes, and there's a good reason for that, because he dies in episode 12! While he does come back later, his death is still impactful thanks to all the development he got before he died and how it affects Emu. It's also pretty creative to have a Kamen Rider's bike be a Kamen Rider himself. Kuroto, aka Kamen Rider Genin, starts off as a reserved mad genius with moments of insanity, but once he dies and comes back to life as a Bugster, he's nothing but a mad genius insanity, and that makes him great meme fodder. Though there's a lot more to the character besides memes, as well he is a villain that works with the heroes later on in the series. Unlike other redemption arcs in Kamen Rider, it's more of a reluctant alliance on both sides, where neither party wants to work with one another. As for Kuroto's dad, Masamune, aka Kamen Rider Chronos, he is an unapologetic jerk through and through, and I love him. If you can't tell, I'm just a sucker for all the big bastard characters in Kamen Rider. Hell, before I started this channel, one of my old channels was called Masked Rider Chronos. While he does pull a lot of backup plans out of his butt in the final few episodes, he's still very entertaining and threatening, especially with the pause ability, and Poppy is also there. She's okay, I just got nothing else to say on her. Legit, this might be the most indifferent I felt towards a Kamen Rider character in like ever. As for aesthetics, X8 suits are very different but really good. I like the shade of pink they used along with the helmet hair that fits into the extreme motif of X8. The chibi level 1 forms that most riders have in the beginning of the series are also cute. They're unique suits that actually require different suit actors than the usual rider suit actors. The gamer driver and collectible gimmicks known as Gashots are very bright and colorful, yet they somehow fit with every rider's aesthetic. The standard Gashots are pretty cool, but my favorite types of Gashots have to be in the 2-in-1s, which references those 2-in-1 bundle games like Mario Bros. Plus Duck Hunt, or the thousands of 2-in-1s you can find on the Game Boy Advance. It's a cool concept for a toy that fits the gaming motif in a way you wouldn't expect, yet makes so much sense. Also, the final form uses Sonic and Knuckles lock-on technology. As for the suits, the Maximum Mighty X suit is my favorite suit in the show. It's so cool how X8 pilots this giant mech, and unlike other series, it's a real suit instead of CGI. Speaking of designs, I love the concept of the ride players. It puts the power of Kamen Riders into the average consumer's hands, which not only increases the stakes of Kamen Rider Chronicle being a death game where the users can die, but serves a grander thematic purpose on how precious human life is. A commonality between all the villains of X8 is their contempt for human life. The Bugsters just view everything as a game, while Masamune views the other characters as products of his creation that can easily be disposed of at any time if they don't serve a purpose. Our heroes are consistently trying to preserve or prevent any more lives from being lost, which fits perfectly into the medical motif this series has, along with gaming, as it's an interesting juxtaposition since in video games you can often respawn after you die with little consequences on your character. I know people question Toei's mixing and matching of different unrelated motifs for Kamen Rider, but this is probably the smartest theme matching they've done. Overall, Well, coming back to rewatch X-Aid, my first Kamen Rider show after 5 years, was a wonderful treat, as it's just as good as I remembered it. From all the smart ways it uses video game concepts like different genres, 2-in-1 packs, pausing, invincibility, and more in its power-ups and its suit themes, to the ever-twisting story. This is a great series that appeals to newcomers while still providing neat twists on the Kamen Rider formula for longtime fans, like any good new entry of an ongoing franchise should do. X-Aid gets a high recommendation from me. Oh shit, I forgot Graphite! He's cool, and he's cool. That's all I got.